Hey everybody, welcome to Busy Living So Bomb, Busy Living So Bomb, Busy Living So Bomb. How is everybody today? Happy episode 448. Can you believe it? 448. Two more next Wednesday. It's going to be 450. Crazy. How is everybody today? Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. I know it's kind of ironic given what the day really recognizes. It's not really a happy day. Somebody mentioned that to me. Actually, a dear friend and listener said to me yesterday, I was talking to her on the phone, and she said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Happy Memorial Day." She goes, "Well, when I was growing up, you weren't ever supposed to say Happy Memorial Day because it's not a happy day. What's happy about it? Today, we remember people that passed for our country and for our freedoms. And as I mentioned in my newsletter, if you get it, it's like the freedoms that we have. We have to cherish the ones that we have left. It's kind of scary what's going on in the world, as we all know. And so today's topic, by the way, if you like today's podcast, please subscribe, click subscribe, trying to get my viewers up. And I know that there's a lot of people watching, and maybe sometimes you don't say, "Oh, I want to subscribe." But if you would, I would greatly appreciate it. Please and follow me I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram. I am on TikTok, but not really myself because I don't really believe in TikTok because I know it's owned by the Chinese Communist Party. So I have to practice what I preach and I don't really go on there. So my stuff is published there, but I do not go on there. So I don't want to lie to you and say that you're going to find me responding to you on there because you won't. But I will respond to you on Facebook and on Instagram. So go subscribe to my channels. It's all under my name, Elizabeth Chance, Busy Living Sober podcast, Busy Living Sober. So again, please subscribe. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. I hope you'll come back. And if you like what you hear, share with your friends. And if you're back and you're a regular, hey, what's up? Hope you had a good holiday again. A good day off if you did have a day off. And I had Henry and his lovely girlfriend, Alyssa, were in town, and they are so cute. We had a really great time. I mean, I think air travel these days is really, really tough because Henry still isn't home and he left almost 24 hours ago. Luckily, he's safe in airports. He's been in a bunch of airports since leaving Florida. The Midwest is a little crazy. Texas, lots of storms. Dallas, lots of storms. So he spent a lot of time in the airport. And luckily, Alyssa made it right back to Austin very quickly. But air traffic, not so much fun. Not so much fun sitting there in airports and having canceled flights and going, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" And I think from what I see on the barely little bit that I do look on social media or watch anything that's relevant, I think that's not like a podcast. I see that there's a lot of people who've been stranded. So if you're one of those people, sending you prayers, sending you like light, I'm sending you, I hope you can look at it some positive way, which I was trying to do with Henry. I was like, come on, let's look at this as at least you're safe. As he's saying, I just got diverted to Houston. I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. Just think about this. At least you get, your plane didn't get crashed and you didn't go, nothing terrible happened. You just were inconvenienced. And he was like, okay, mom, thanks. And that brings me to my topic today, which is, do you feel like you're being tested? I feel like we're all being tested around us. I think that it's funny because and it's not funny in reality, like, ha ha ha. It's more like interesting in that, I feel like the only thing that was really going on when I got sober was like, okay, the challenges of like the peer pressure. It was like, oh, you said, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm not going to drink. And everybody's like, oh, come on, don't you want one? Or you're not an alcoholic. What do you mean? You don't have a drinking problem. You drink just like I do. We don't have a problem. We're fine. And you'd be like, oh, wait, that was like definitely a test. And I'm sure that's happening to people still today. But there's so many other tests that are going on in our society where we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being tested everywhere I go. It's every decision I make, everything I say. I can't say what I think, or I'm going to be, I'm going to be persecuted. I can't believe one way, or I'm going to be persecuted. Like all this crazy stuff, and it's interesting. Again, if you didn't read my newsletter, you should go to my website. You can either get there by going to elizabethchance.com or go to busylivingsober.com. Both will take you to the same exact place, but you'll be prompted when you get there to sign up for my newsletter. So go in and sign up for a newsletter that will come right into your inbox. But I talked about how people have been writing to me lately saying, "Oh my gosh, you're so strong by coming out and talking about what you believe and being truthful to who you are." And I feel like I have to be, because I've been given, I don't know, the ability to not really care what a lot of people think, even though sometimes I do. Um, but I guess when you weigh things in your, let's say in your hands, you're weighing things like up and down, you go to like, oh, is this good or is this bad? Like, what is the good and bad of both of them? And I guess my beliefs is stronger than what I care what other people think. So I guess if you were to tip the scales, um, the scale for being like, I have to be honest and authentic and share who I am with you guys is like that is so much more important to me than what people think about me. But I still have that little bit inside of me because I am human. And I was just listening to something actually this morning, and it was Walking with Purpose. It's on the Halo app, and they have a daily thing, and I hadn't found it till today, because I don't know if any of you, struggle at times and you're like, what is this for? Why am I here? Why has this happened? Why? And we get to this place that sometimes can be dark. And I don't like to stay dark very long. So I have to find tools that get me out of the dark. What can get me out of there? Prayer, meditation, um, literally sitting there listening to a podcast that's positive and something that's enlightening and talks about God or the Blessed Mother. And I just get light up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better right away. It's like the best tool for me. And I just want to share that with you guys. Like if you're out there and you're like, I'm struggling, go to that Halo app, listen. The woman who started Praying with a Purpose, I think, is or Walking with Purpose is the name of her. She started that years ago, and I know they have it at my church down the street, and I can't wait to get involved in that. But it's Walking with Purpose, and so you understand, you can read the oldest book in that we all know, the oldest best-selling book of the whole entire world is the Bible, and so it talks. You go to a Bible study with that. But she spoke today about being able to use your voice and show others, like we've all gone through darkness. And, that's one of the reasons I guess one of the reasons I really started this podcast is I've always wanted to do, I've always watched the news, especially when I was little. This is Tom Brokaw days. And I used to love to watch the news and hear what was going on and listen. And it was non-biased, obviously, back then. And I used to just love that and interviewing people. And I love it. And so that's why I do this. And I want to share with people that, we all are on a journey and we all are looking for a place that we feel peace. And right now it's like there's so much we're being tested by that it's so hard to find peace, right? It's so fleeting. And it was interesting. I really found watching Harrison Butker. I don't know if any of you guys watched his actual commencement speech at that Catholic university I think it was in Omaha or Iowa, one of those states. Anyway, and he's a kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is actually one of my favorite teams. And when he gave that commencement speech and he talked about women and his wife in particular, and the women that were in the audience, and said, if you're thinking that corporate America and the ladder is what you want to go do, great. But if you also think that I just want to get married and have babies and raise kids, that's okay too. And so many people were up in arms about that. And I feel like we're being tested. Like, is that bad that that he actually said that when we all know it to be true? I mean, let's face it. When I was growing up, I wanted to be the next Barbara Walters, but what trumped that was that I wanted to get married and I wanted to have kids. That's truth. And I know so many people and so many friends and so many younger friends now that they feel that tick that comes on inside of us. Like, I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want to have a baby. Some people might not have that tick, but I think more people than not, more women than not have that feeling. I don't think you can have that if you're a guy. Like, I'm having the tick. I think maybe, I don't know. I maybe mentally ill. I don't know. But all I know is that women have this tick and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to, well, at least for me, I wanted to have a baby. That was what trumped everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I got married. Let's have a baby. That was like the number one thing. It was like, okay, we got married. Check. Let's have a baby. Check. Today, I feel so bad for so many young women that can't get pregnant and they have a hard time. And oh my gosh, the things that have happened since people got the COVID shot, I think it's just so tragic. And I think about women all the time because when I was younger, it's literally like I just looked at my husband the wrong way and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant again. I mean, I had 3 kids in 3 years. And and it was, you know, I was raised by a baby boomer. My mom was born in 1946. She had me when she was 22. And I never remember her going, okay, what are you going to grow up and be, Elizabeth? It was always like, oh, you're going to meet somebody one day, Elizabeth. You're going to get married one day. You're going to have babies one day. And I couldn't wait. And I did do things a little backwards and I met my husband and I moved in with him right away, literally pretty much right away. And then we got engaged like 9 months later. And then we had our first child over a year after we got married, but then I got pregnant again and had Hadley and then I had Henry. And and I feel like today they're trying to shame us for wanting that in our lives. Being shamed for wanting to get married and have babies. I think it's kind of crazy. Like, what if that's what you want to do? You want to get married and you want to have babies and you want to stay at home and raise your kids, even though today it's almost impossible and you can't do that because you need both incomes. Let's just face it, it's so expensive. But let's say that's what you wanted to do. It is the hardest job ever because let's face it, when you're a mom, for one, when they're babies, you have to be a mind reader. Okay, what did that cry mean? What did this cry mean? What do they need? What do they need? What do they need? When am I going to take a shower? When am I going to take care of myself? Oh my gosh, we have to get groceries. We have no groceries. Oh my gosh, the laundry's piling up. Oh my gosh, the toys are in the corner. Oh, and I haven't slept for days. I never sleep. Years I didn't sleep. Okay, can you imagine that's what your job is? Okay, that's my job. I have to go do this job that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what time it is. This person might cry and might need me. It doesn't matter if I'm in a deep sleep having the best dream of my life and now I've been woken and I have to go take care of this other human. And I should feel bad that I decided to do this and only this. It's exhausting being a parent. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. You give it your all. You put your all into being a mom. At least I did. It was like my life. And then they grow up and then they say bye and then they stop talking to you. They just lose your number. You don't even matter anymore. You weren't invited to their wedding. You weren't invited to anything. And you're like, okay, I did everything for you. I did everything. I could have been a career woman. I think I could have been a career woman, but that wasn't my choice. I wanted to be mom. I wanted a family. I wanted a husband. I wanted the white picket fence. I wanted all of it. Okay. I wanted that dream. It did not happen for me. It's still not happening for me. You know, I'm on my second marriage. Is it great? It's great some days. It's not great every day. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I mean, it's life. It's being tested. It's like life is so expensive and money is a huge a huge money issue. Money is a huge issue when it comes to marriages and relationships, and it causes so many fights. So is it great right now? Not so much. Am I being tested? For sure. For sure. And I'm like, what now? And just trying to stay in this place that I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I cannot go down that dark, yucky hole and go to depression and go to sadness and go to all these things that are just debilitating. I can't do it. So I have to go listen to something that's going to bring me up. Again, that Halo app, amazing. Always so many great things. There's so much confusion. It's bad. It's so like I'm like dumbfounded. I'm like, am I crazy? So the NFL was at first said, "Oh my gosh, we don't support Harrison's comments at the graduation," but they stood by Colin Kaepernick when he didn't even take a knee for the Star Spangled Banner. Seriously? Like in other countries, that's like treason, right? They will take you out on firing squad if you don't like your country and they'll shoot you. But here in the United States, the National Football League, which is one of the richest league things out in our country, one of the richest, nonstop money, 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 money. And they don't support Harrison's words and his commencement speech where he says that it's okay for a woman to stay at home and make her husband happy because it really makes her happy too. Because let's face it, it's nice staying home. It's nice not having to drop your kid off at a daycare center with people you don't even know. It's nice to be able to say, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to raise my child and I get to watch their first walk. It's nice. Is it easy? No way. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. It is the hardest job in the world. I've seen things that have said that if you're a mom, the income that you would make if it was a job, and I'm doing air quotes if you're just listening, at being a mom, you'd be getting paid like I don't even think you can put a price tag. Like what, $1 million a year, maybe. I think you could get more. I mean, let's face it, like some of those football players make $5 million a year for kicking a football or going and doing whatever they're doing. I think a mom totally deserves way more than that. So the price tag would be what? 50 million to be a mom, to raise an actual human being. Think about what an important job that is. You're raising a human being. You're there to make sure it wakes up, it gets fed, it's clean. The child needs everything from you, especially the first couple of years, everything. They don't know how to do anything. So you are raising a human being. And you know what I find so fascinating? In 1960, now I wasn't born until 1968, but 1960, there was a population growth of 2.3 million a year. Okay, so the number of babies that were born and the number of people that died, it equaled that there were 2.3 million people being born here in the United States a year. Okay, here we are in 2024. 500,000 people come. What's going on? Well, I can tell you from my experience and my opinion, my sons have friends that find it very hard to find a girl to date. They say, "Oh my gosh, Mrs. Chance, it's so hard to meet somebody. It's so hard to meet a woman that has these old beliefs." Because let's face it, if you're raised in a conservative family and you have these conservative views and you have a mom and dad who the mom and dad, they raise these kids and they have the same views. They go to church, they do their things, and they're like, it's so hard to find a woman that has those same traits as I do, especially in the big cities in the Northeast and probably in California. You know, all these girls graduating from university think, oh, I need to get a corporate America job and then I'll get married. Like it's so easy to get married and find somebody that you actually are compatible with and make a baby. And, with all the things that are going on with that today, how hard it is to have a baby. And then you finally meet someone and it's time to it's time to get married and start a family and it's not happening and you don't have enough money. I mean, it's just crazy. And then, oh, we need women's lib. Okay, I get it. I have a question. This might be really actually putting myself out there. I am going to admit this with this statement, but since when are we like the lesser of the two? Let's face it. I mean, for you men that are out there, I love men. I love men. I can't imagine not having a husband. I can't imagine not having a man in my life. I love men. I love my sons. I love my guy friends. I love men. But let's face it, women run the world. We just let them believe that we're like, go ahead. Go ahead. We're going to let you believe that you're number one. But behind every great man is an even better woman. Barbara Bush. Oh my gosh, amazing woman. Let's face it. I think Melania Trump. I'm not really sure about the Jill Biden. I think Jill Biden's a sick whack job. I mean, given that her husband is obviously going through some things, and he's given himself to no matter if I'm a Republican or Democrat. Let's just face it. This man gave his life to the public service, and he's obviously going through emotional things, and he's probably going through dementia. I am not a doctor, and I do not know what his actual prognosis is and what he has, but obviously something's going on with him. And that his wife actually puts him out on stage and says, here he goes, here he goes. It's okay. I think it's great that he's going out there and parading everywhere, not knowing what son died when. His son that's like totally obviously needs help. He's not even there for him because he's trying to scam that he's running our country. I mean, it's so, and she stands right behind him and going, great. I'm like, lady, you do that? You're one sick woman, one sick woman. Wow. Wow, to think you're like that, it's crazy. You love him? I don't think so. To me, that looks like somebody that's just a mean, not nice person and really doesn't care anything but about him, but just for herself. And we're here, we're all being tested. We're looking at all this stuff that we're like, that does not make sense. 2 + 2 is not equaling 4. Are we supposed to believe this because we want to make everybody happy? We're supposed to all be like drinking the same, like doing the same things, shopping at the same stores, looking all the same? No, no, I don't think so. Alcoholism and drug addiction is at the highest it's ever been because we're all sitting here in this state of confusion going, what is right and what is wrong? You know in your heart what it is, but if you tell your neighbor, they might not like you anymore, or your friend might not like you, or your child might not like you. I have a daughter that's just, I can't even, we can't talk about anything. We don't see anything the same. It's terrible. And she believes she's to the left and I'm to the right. And I try to have a relationship, but it is so polar opposite today that I'm being tested. I feel like I'm being tested. I have a conversation with her and it's like talking to somebody where there's like mines everywhere. You're like, am I going to say something that's going to make her blow up over here? Or am I going to say something over there that's going to make her blow up? I'm going to make her blow up over here. It's crazy. I can't even be myself. She doesn't like who I am. It's just crazy. I don't know. As hard as times must have been, not being able to, I guess you'd only have a black and white TV with like 2 channels on it. Like, would that be, I don't know, but it seemed like the family unit was much stronger then. I don't know. It's interesting. When I was getting sober, and I think for a big part of, the 12 steps was really like founded by men, right? It wasn't women. The women went to Al-Anon. I mean, the women that were going to joining 12-step groups in AA it was a very small number compared to men. The alcoholic rate of a man was much stronger than it was a woman. What is that about? Were women not drinking then? Were they not stressed? Or did they do other things like sit on your stoop and talk to your neighbor, your girlfriend, who was like your best friend, your neighbor, and you were raising your kids together, and you guys went and you'd sit and you'd talk to each other and you'd have these conversations about what was going on in life. And I mean, I did that, but I was drunk the whole time. I found friends that liked to drink with me. My mommy group, it was crazy. We liked to drink. It was crazy. I think back to it. I was like, I put Stolies of lemon in the freezer during playgroup and be like, oh, okay, this is really fun. Let's have a cocktail. Maybe it was because I keep taking this headband on and off, by the way, if you're watching this, sorry if it's distracting. But I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, we have to have playgroup. What are we going to talk about? Diapers. I remembered like the competitive thing of like being a mom too when my kids were little. You'd be like, oh, is yours walking yet? How many teeth does your kid have now? I remember going to my mom when my oldest, Kent, we were in playgroup, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, he's not doing this. Sally's little boy's doing this, but mine's not. Oh my gosh, is he going to be okay? He's not potty training really that quickly. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, they're sucking their thumb or doing whatever they're doing. And I remember saying to my mom, oh my gosh, you're not doing what everybody else is doing. My mom was like, Elizabeth, he will graduate from high school and he won't be wearing a diaper. I promise. And he will be talking. I promise it's going to be okay. I know today that isn't the case for every child. And I'm sorry if your child has harder things going on, and which then makes you want to lead to a drink. But all that stuff, all that questioning, when we're sitting here questioning, and we obviously do not have all the answers, none of us do. And we sit here and we get tested all the time and we think to ourselves, what is going on? How did I get here? How did I get to this place? And one of my favorite songs is by Kenny Chesney. It's called Noise. And they just had a Kenny Chesney cover band Friday night in Delray Beach, and it was absolutely fabulous. And they sang Noise, and the words are so great. And I just hearing this I'm going to read some of it too, and I'm not going to get all into it, and maybe I'll put it here in the description. But wrecking balls, downtown construction, bottles breaking, jukebox bugs, and cardboard sign says the Lord is coming. Tick tock, tick tock. Rumors turn the mills back home. Parking lot kids with the speakers blown. We didn't turn it on, but we can't turn it off, off, off. Sometimes I wonder, how did we get here? Seems like all we ever hear is noise. Yeah, we scream. Yeah, we shout till we don't have a voice. In the streets, in the crowds, it ain't nothing but noise, drowning out all the dreams of this Tennessee boy, just trying to be heard in all this noise. 24-hour television gets so loud that no one listens. Sex and money and politicians talk, talk, talk. But there ain't no conversation, ain't nothing left to the imagination, trapped in our phones, and we can't make it stop. Stop this. And it goes on. I'll put the whole lyrics in the in my description, and maybe I'll even put a link to the song from Spotify. But right now, we just all are being tested and getting to a place where you can find quiet and you can find peace. And if it's Catholicism, if it's Christianity, if it's Judaism, if it's Muslim, whatever it is that you believe, I think it's imperative that you believe, especially today, in something bigger than us and something bigger that you can't touch. And maybe you can feel at times, and a peace will come over you. But if we sit here and we pay attention to all this noise, we can't find peace. And we long for peace. At least I do. I long for peace all the time. And I feel blessed with the friends I have because we get to talk. And that always makes you feel better because you get it out of your head and you get it onto somebody else. You give it up. That's the best part about a 12-step room. Like, you would have something that was really going on with you, and you could go and you could raise your hand and you could share what's going on. And guess what? It would lighten it. And then you get perspective. You get perspective when you talk to somebody else. You realize, wait a minute, it's kind of like Henry with the plane and having to be diverted to Houston. I had to say, how are you going to look at this? Like, are you lucky that you actually are in a silver jet flying across the US, and you're getting there much quicker than you would driving? And it just takes some patience and some tolerance and some tools in your toolbox. And what are your personal tools? What is it that makes you tick? What is it that gives you peace? What is it? For me, again, it's listening to the Halo app. I'll put that on there too, the one that I'm listening to. I don't know if anybody out there would be interested if we started our own little Bible study here with Busy Living Sober. Was that something you would be into? Like reading it together? I don't even care whatever religion everybody is. We could give our own opinions on everything. It would be cool to have it be like all different, diverse people. I think that'd be amazing. If you're interested, just send me a note. Tell me if you'd be into that, because I think it'd be really cool. I'm loving doing 33 days to Mary consecration, and it's been amazing learning about the Blessed Mother and, wow, just amazing. Just so many great things that are there's so much good. And the fact that, Harrison Butker could get up there and give that speech, and there's haters, everybody's gonna have haters. But to say that was awesome, I wanna say that was awesome. I felt that it was awesome. It was so awesome that I was actually had tears running down my eyes. I was like, "Oh, thank you." It was so beautiful. And his wife must be really proud of him. And his mom, actually, his mom must be really proud too. But having the ability to get away from the noise, taking care of you, putting that oxygen mask on you first is what is so important. So just know this, you are not alone. I want to tell you, I have a new logo. And you're gonna be like, why does she have a new logo again? Because I've been using this compass and I like the compass, but do you know what I really love is spoonbills. A spoonbill is a bird that has a long beak that is actually shaped like a spoon. They're pink because they eat shrimp, but I love them. And the first time I saw one in Amelia Island, I was on Amelia Island and I saw this pink bird flying in the sky, and I was like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful. I love pink if you didn't know that about me. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful bird ever, ever, ever. Oh my gosh. And I've painted them a bunch. I've got a bunch of spoonbills that I painted at home. And I thought, why don't I have a spoonbill as my logo? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And when you look up the meaning, the spiritual meaning of a spoonbill, what it spiritually means is peace. Peace. We're all looking for peace. I'm hoping that you're going to find peace in Busy Living Sober, and that you will share this podcast with your friends. You'll subscribe to my channel. Please, please, please subscribe to my channel. And know that you're not alone. That's why I changed it to the spoonbill, because I want us all to have peace. We're all searching for peace. Let's find more peace. As much as they're supposed to, they want to make us fanatic and crazy and dramatic and all the rest of the stuff. We get to just be like, I just have to get through today. That's it. One day at a time. Just one day at a time. I can't go too far in the future, and I definitely can't go back and change what has happened. So I got to just find peace in now. So that is my wish for you today, is that you find peace somewhere in your life and that you are getting busy living sober. Or if you're just here to listen because maybe you don't have a drinking problem, but you know somebody that does, or you just like my message. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for signing up for my newsletter. Thank you for everything. And I hope everybody has a great week. I will be back on Monday. I have a fabulous guest. His dad's famous. That's all I'm going to tell you. I have a famous person coming on Monday. So tune in. And until then, keep getting. Oh, wait, I got to say one other thing. Reach out to me. If you're interested in anything, have any comments, and have anything you want to say to me, please reach out to me. And you can reach me at Elizabeth, ELIZABETH, at sign, ElizabethChance.com. And chance is just like you spell CHANCE.com. Elizabeth at ElizabethChance.com. Send me a message. I promise you I will respond right away. And until next time, keep getting busy, living sober. Take care, everybody. Bye.